Hey folks, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth. Today is Monday, it's September 26th, and we're going to get started with today's live stream. Once again, welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Going to do a public live stream. If anybody does have any ticker requests, just make sure to drop them in the comments below. Let me know. The exchange as well helps save time. Also, if you want to let me know if you're looking to buy, sell, obviously I can't give you financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only, but I can tell you what I would do if I were in your shoes. And if you give me a little bit more information, I can tailor the response a little bit better to your type of question. I can give you, what I would do if I were in your shoes if you're looking to sell, short, hedge, whatever your game plan is. But obviously I just got back from vacation. I had a great vacation. I was in Prince Edward Island with my family. I got the flu the first day that I was there, so I got back. I'm feeling a lot better now. I just did about an hour and a half sauna session in my condo. Absolutely love the sauna. It's pretty much up there with brushing my teeth nowadays. Can't live without it. So going to get started with today's live stream. We'll just go over, I did some videos earlier today. And again, if you have any ticker requests, let me know. We'll jump into that here shortly. But one thing I wanted to just bring up here was I did a couple of videos earlier. If you haven't seen this already, I did a private member only live stream. I did make that public because it was quite important. And I encourage you to check that out. I also did a video on Friday, 3 days ago, saying morepainahead.com fractal perfection, playing out to perfection. And it's actually amazing how similar this fractal is playing out from the .com era. So I highly encourage you to check that out, but let us know where you're tuning in from in the live chat, and let's go. Also did a Truly video here just a few minutes ago, down 40% in 1 month. I'm not hearing very many people talk about MSOs these days, and I think it's just because people are sort of taking the ostrich approach, just putting their head in the sand, and they don't want to look at it, right? People not wanting to log into their portfolios because they don't want to look at it. But I told people not to get too cocky because we could potentially see MJ follow suit and do a similar move that Canadian MJ is doing, and that's exactly what happened, right? Did get my hat back from Prince Edward Island as well. Shout out to POW Group member Graham for the hat. But you can see here, Hexo branded hat. It's got POW rod on the front, XMG, which stands for 10 milligrams. A lot of people think it says MXG, but that's incorrect. And you can see here Molo 5, but pretty dope. I look kind of weird in a hat. Let me know what you think, but not really a hat kind of guy. So I do like the hat, though. It's probably the coolest hat I've ever seen. Let me know what you think of the hat. But we'll have to see. I don't know if Grant, shout out to Grant, POW Group member Grant, for the hat, for sending this to me. I really appreciate it. I'll have to see if he has the template for that, if anybody is interested in getting one for themselves. But like I said, just did some videos. Highly encourage you to check those out. But we'll jump into any ticker requests if anybody does have any. Before we jump into the ticker requests, I do see we have quite a few people joining the live stream as well. Welcome, welcome. Smash the like, help support me in the channel. And if you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell to be notified on any future live streams or any future videos that I post. But taking a look at the SPY futures here. So we are bouncing at the moment. It's 2 daily inside bars. We did break the inside bar from yesterday, bearish, but not by much. So we have another tightening range. Inside bars just mean that it's inside the range of the previous daily candle. So we're still trading sideways essentially at the moment. But we do have a lack of resistance up to 393 here. So essentially we could bounce all the way up about 7% before we even get toward resistance and just be expecting a daily lower high, as we are now in a daily downtrend with a lower high and lower low. But let's see if we can get some positive momentum. I'm not very confident that we're going to see much of a bounce this week. I think we're going to continue to see a slow bleed, and maybe even over the next 1 to 2 to 4 weeks, we could even see a bloodbath. We could see all the way down to about 330, 320s on the S&P 500. And then between now and the November 8th elections, we scout a bottom. So we could see a back test of the previous all-time highs before the C19 dump. And then into the November 8th midterm elections, we set a bottom between now and then. And then leading into the FOMC rate decision, which is after the US midterms, that's when I think we're going to see either 25 basis points, or they may even just leave it at 0. They might not increase rates at all. And that would create a face ripper of a rally right in the markets, specifically in the S&P 500 and also in crypto as well. But this is why I've been focusing on, I know a lot of people, this channel is an MJ centric channel. Obviously, you can see here, it says your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. 80% of the content, we're an MJ centric channel, but 80% of the content is usually on MJ. But that doesn't mean that's all I do or all that we do as a community, because it shouldn't be all that you do, because that's how you get investor fatigue. That's how you, for lack of a better word, drive yourself crazy, right? Because if you're only looking at one sector, especially if you're only looking bullish, if you're only bullish and you're looking at a sector that's in a monthly, weekly, and daily downtrend and has been in a bear market for the past 2 years, realistically, since Canadian legalized MJ stocks, we had that huge rally on hopes of US legalization when the Dems took control of the Senate. But just imagine what's going to happen when they actually legalize, right? And then we have New York coming online. We have Germany, France, not too far out as well. So we have a lot of positive catalysts. But, just imagine how crazy, I couldn't imagine just only focusing on MJ stocks and being, in the bear market that we've been in for the last couple of years, really since we had that February 2021 run up. I'd probably want to quit too, right? But I'm focusing on altcoins. I still have more altcoins than I do crypto. I have more altcoins than I do MJ at the moment, dollar wise. That's starting to change, but that's how I'm able to cope with these absurdly low prices. But not only that, it's a mindset game, right? You have to change your mindset. You have to get out of that, I want it to moon tomorrow, because that's not realistic. What we need to do is say that, okay, we know that MJ's a once in a lifetime opportunity. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be here in 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and even 100 years from now. But just like any new upcoming emerging market, we want volatility. And with volatility comes these 80 to 90% corrections. This isn't the first time I've seen an 80 to 90% correction. Let me know in the comments if you've seen this before, if this is your first time. But it won't be the last either, right? Because we're a nascent industry. And just like, Amazon in the early days, it was very, very volatile. In the .com days in 2000, it dropped 95% from its all-time high. So again, and it wasn't an illegal substance, right? We weren't trading illegal substances. There's still some countries in the world that offer the death penalty for just simple possession, right? So you can't really compare the two. I do agree with that, but the volatility and the trends in the market is the same, right? So you have to change the mindset. Just be aware, right? The key to life and really success is being aware, knowing if you have a problem, if you don't have a problem, knowing if you need to work on things or don't need to work on things. And the great thing about a bear market, a prolonged, drawn out bear market, is we're likely coming on the end of it soon. And just around the corner is a prolonged bull market, right? Like I've always said, the longer the base, the higher in space, the longer, the more aggressive the downside, the more the bull market will be longer and aggressive to the upside, right? So this is once in a lifetime generational opportunity, and you can't have generational opportunity without the absurdly low prices, right? So just recognize it for what it is. We can't control the market. We can only do what we can control. And the markets can do one of three things. It can go up, down, or sideways, and prepare for all things. Why do you think I've been saying, I've been shouting from the rooftops, saying that it's not too late to take a hedge position. Hedge just means, let's say you're long on MJ or altcoins, you're going to take a hedge position on a short position on the S&P 500, because if the S&P 500 went down, that could translate into more downside for MJ and altcoins, right? That's the most thing that's pretty much the only two categories that I'm bullish on in the long term. The medium to long term is altcoins and MJ, over the next couple of years. But I'm also not just, completely putting all my money and my eggs in one basket. I'm diversifying. I'm not owning one. I own more than one MJ stock. I own Canadian LPs. I own US MSOs, so Canadian and American operators in MJ. I own retailers, ETFs. I also own a ton of altcoins, right? So I'm diversified in that way. I have mutual funds. I have now 2 real estate properties. I sold 2 real estate properties 1 and 2 years ago, respectively. And then I just bought 2 condos here in Edmonton, looking at possibly doing a third. I've got a 6-figure cash position, right? So I'm hoarding that cash so that I can prepare for these dips. I'm also shorting the S&P 500. And you can see here, I posted back in the POW Group private community on August 16th. I said, SPY's hitting 430, not too late to take an SPXS hedge position, folks. And that was basically, did I know that the market was going to top that day? Absolutely not. But it actually did. And it was absolutely astonishing how it all played out. And you can see here from my time that I posted it here 2 weeks ago, when I posted this the screenshot, it was up 40%. Now it's up basically, I think 60 to 80%. Daily RSI was at 73. We went all the way from 430 down to 360. So again, it's not that I have a crystal ball, but this is how we protect ourselves and how we deal with the bear markets and the low prices, right? And if you don't have that mentality, again, it's a mindset. And I've also been focusing on, I've recently started an Airbnb. I'm going to be doing some videos as well on Airbnb, getting a lot of requests on, what I did, how I set it up, some tips and tricks and things like that, a generic overview of how I became successful at it. But in 5 short weeks into my Airbnb venture, I've already eclipsed the 6,000 mark. I'm actually close to 7,000 now, just shy under 7,000, and I'll be a super host come October 1st. And that's because I am very passionate. When I set my mind to something, I do it, right? And I also do thousands of hours of research. I can't tell you how many, how much time I spent. Before I even bought a property, I was spending months and months and months of researching different markets, where I wanted to buy the Airbnb. Did I want to manage it myself? Do I wanted to hire a property manager? Did I want to hire a cleaning company? All of these things. And I didn't FOMO in, right? I didn't, the interest rates are going to go up. I don't really care, because in a condo in Edmonton that only costs $100,000 or $150,000, interest rates going up 1-2% really doesn't matter. If you're buying a house that's $400,000, $500,000 plus, of course, 1-2% interest rate, it matters, right? So it's a buyer's market right now in Edmonton. That was one of the key reasons why. The appreciation of the value of the home, you're double dipping, plus you're making a ton of money off Airbnb. Plus, Edmonton, if you take a look at some of the Airbnb stats, some of the bookings over the last year have increased 100, sometimes 150% year over year in terms of bookings. So that is a stat that's huge on your side. Not only that, I just had somebody message me last night asking if I could help them out with a discount, because they are a victim of the war. They're from Ukraine, and they're going to be moving to Edmonton to get away from that war. And, my thoughts and prayers go out to them and their families that are impacted by that. I couldn't even imagine. So I was absolutely 100% on board to help out with that. So I offered them a pretty modest and generous discount, and, just realize that it's only money, right? It's, people are in worse situations than us. And, people think we have it bad because the market's down or something like that. Well, at least you don't have a war going on in your backyard, right? And I'm just fortunate that I have the lifestyle that I have, because I can give back and I can help those people, right? So again, this is how I'm coping with the bear market as well, as by doing an Airbnb, focusing on real estate markets that, obviously I'm not going to buy real estate in Toronto or Vancouver. I have no interest in doing that. Maybe after a 50 to 60% correction, which I think is possible. But just take a look at this mortgage payment using the median existing home price. The average home price and mortgage price right now is $2,592 a month. Like, spoiler alert, my condo here in Edmonton, the mortgage payment, the one I'm in right now, the one I'm living in, is only like $500 a month or like $600 a month. My other condo that I just bought is only like high 400s, low 500 as well, right? I think actually the one I'm in now is like 600. But I mean, that's crazy. That's matching 2012 levels. And I just couldn't imagine spending that amount of money, right? And, I do think that we're going to see a massive correction in the market. I took this picture as well whenever I was in PEI, but essentially this is the first ever house here on the right that I bought. It was a duplex when I was 23. And I sold them both 2 and 1 year ago, respectively. I bought this house about a couple years later, and that was the one I was living in, and I was managing both of these properties. I had a duplex, 2 tenants for about 7 years, 8 years. I was a landlord, and I was doing long-term rental deals, right? And the market blew up. Like, my friend bought a house in PEI about 3 years ago, paid $200,000 for it, put a little bit of work into it, some heat pumps, not a whole lot of work, but did it all himself, and just had the motivation, had the dedication and commitment, and worked hard, right? And now his house was worth about $400,000. Where do you know that a house has over doubled in value in like 2 or 3 years, right? I'm pretty sure that's got to be a first, right? So again, if you're only focusing on MJ stocks, you're only focusing on crypto, you're going to miss the opportunities, right? You don't want to stretch yourself too thin either. But and another thing is I can't imagine, there was a huge fence behind my house, this blue house here, huge fence. And I don't know how many times I had to fix it, replant posts and things like that, just from like normal windstorms. And we just had a hurricane in East Coast of Prince Edward Island. I don't know if you've seen it, but check it out. Unfortunately, there was an elderly lady. I think she was 73. She went into her house to try to get her belongings together and whatnot, and to head out. And the Hurricane Fiona, washed her whole entire house away into the sea, and it took her with it. So, thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family. But, this is another thing that, I'm grateful that I bought a condo, because you never really know. And that's the importance of having insurance. But I couldn't imagine the damage that, we had just a regular windstorm a couple of years ago, and it completely destroyed my fence. And I spent days and weeks trying to repair it. And I can't imagine. I'd be surprised if there's even a fence left standing after that hurricane. I just go look at, if you haven't seen the footage or the visuals from the hurricane, go check that out. It's pretty astonishing what happened to Prince Edward Island and the East Coast. There was over 500,000 people without power, and if you know anything about the East Coast, there's probably only 1 million people. There's probably more than that. I'm just joking, but there's not a whole lot of people. And I think PEI had about 95% of people without power. So that's why I'm grateful that I bought the condos now as well. But I'm grateful for everything that I learned from that. But yeah, we'll jump into the chat. But I just wanted to give everybody kind of an update on my thoughts and process. There's a lot going on in the world, and we need to be prepared for this, right? Climate change is a thing, and things are changing in a hurry. And again, having that diversification, having that mindset, changing your mindset, working on the mindset. Bear markets are for building, not for stressing and just looking at the price going down all the time, right? Think of how you can do things, how you can capitalize on that. Yo, Tank, welcome to the stream. What do you think Tilray closes out the year at? Well, I did a video on Tilray. Actually, I had a price target of about $5. We'll just scroll down here. Yeah, $5 USD, Tilray Brands, stock target. Obviously, we're getting destroyed right now with the weakness in the broader market. So if we take a look at the S&P 500 over the last couple of weeks, just in the last 3 weeks, we're down 12%, right? So the reason why Tilray is down over the last 3 weeks, it's only down, that's the monthly time frame. In the last 3 weeks, we're down about 25%. So that's why Tilray is down, is because, what do I always say about the broader market? If the S&P 500 is down 1%, individual stocks, especially MJ, could be down way more than that, usually 3 or 4 times as much. So the reason why Tilray is down now is because of the broader market and the recession fears and things like that, escalations with Russia and Ukraine threatening nuclear war and things like that. We know that fiat currencies around the world are getting absolutely destroyed because of inflation and things like that, the rate hikes. But we're only about 10% away from the all-time low there at 243. So I do think that $5 is realistic. We got pretty close. We got as high as 452. So came within about 48 cents away from that price target that I had. But again, I do think that $5 is going to be easily achieved. I meant over the next couple of months, right, and into the end of the year, into the fall. So I do think, like I said, the S&P 500 could drop another 10%, target 320s, 330s, previous all-time high before the C19 dump, and then set a bottom sometime between now and November 8th, the midterm elections, and then into the end of November when we get the FOMC rate decision. We either get maybe a 25 basis point hike or maybe even no hike at all, and then that's going to be the catalyst that propels the sector. We could even see safe banking in the sector. Obviously, we have earnings coming up here on Tilray on October 7th, but I'm not worried about individual earnings for individual MJ stocks. It's even if it pumps, it's not gonna be sustained. It's gonna be short-lived until the whole sector reverses. It's not gonna matter, right? So I'm not really focusing on earnings reports. I'm focusing on the sector-wide catalyst, and that sector-wide catalyst would be something like safe banking or uplisting to the NYSE and the Nasdaq. But I do think that there's a very good chance that it could make its way back up to $5 on the on the medium side. On the high end, I think even $10 is possible if we get safe banking. So closing out the end of the year, like I said, if SPY sets its bottom sometime between now and the elections, and then we see a face ripper rally from an interest rate, either a very low interest rate increase or none at all, we could see a massive rally into the end of the year, and maybe even a Santa Claus rally. And that would bode well for MJ stocks. And if that did happen, if we get safe banking, we could see anywhere from $10 to $20 on Tilray. But I think $5 is realistic. So high tide, I did do a high tide video not that long ago. I'll just do a quick search for it here because there's a lot of videos. I've got like 730 videos now. But essentially I said dilution news, confirmed $1 USD target for the weekly bear flag. So I've been saying for a while now that I've been targeting $1 on high tide. And if we just go to the high tide chart, We hit as low as 137, actually 136 it looks like. Let's go to the monthly time frame. 135. So 135. So we're getting close to my target, right? So if I just go into the weekly time frame, I'll show you what I was looking at. Here's the weekly bear flag here. We had the high, low, lower high, anything under $3.02, that 0.32 fib retracement was a potential weekly bear flag. And it was a weak bounce, and that's exactly what we got. Once we lost 173, that confirmed the weekly bear flag. And if you take the measured move, this high to low, and then extrapolate it out here to the 0.32 fib, it says here we could be targeting $1 USD on high tide. So we're getting dangerously close to that, right? People say that technical analysis doesn't work. Well, they completely don't know what they're talking about, because I've been using it as a tool in my tool belt for many, many years now. And yeah, I let people think whatever they want. You know, if you don't know how to use the tools that are put forth, of course you don't think it works, right? But once you learn how to use it, it's like saying when you first start to ride a bike, oh, this thing doesn't work. You need training wheels. Look at me, I'm on it. It's not working. I've been doing it for like days and days and days and days. Sometimes people do it for struggle for weeks and weeks and weeks, but then one day it just clicks, right? And it's like, okay, well, not, you know, everybody is going to have that same experience. And then you get people who are just cynical and skeptical and closed-minded and things like that. But this is obviously, this obviously works, and we're only about 26% away from that target now. So even if you were to start to enter now, again, not telling you buy, sell, or hold this for entertainment purposes only, we could just come to terms with the fact that we could see another 25% drop, but who cares? If we drop another 25, even 50% from here, who cares? We have the all-time low there at 65 cents, but who cares if we even drop that low? That'd be another 50%. Who cares? If you buy it now and we go back up to all-time highs, that's 8x, right? That's $1,000 into $8,000. If you put $1,000 into it and it goes down 50%, that's only $500. You only lost $500, right? So who cares? The most you can lose is $1,000. And you can make 8,000. And if it doubles its all-time high, I think the stock could easily be worth $30 someday. There's, you know, lots of coverage saying that this is like one of the top growing stocks, not just in MJ, but like over the last, I don't know, like the last 100 companies or something like that, up and coming growth companies. So this is a great company for the long term. I love the company. I'm actually going to go to Canna Cabana after this. They got a new shipment today. A lot of new drinks in. I'm going to see if they have some of the new Hexo products, Durban Poison and powdered donuts in 28 gram format. Hoping they get some of those in stock here today. Really looking forward to trying that. Just hit Alberta, so looking forward to trying that. But like I said, you know, they've got a ton of their prices are competitive. That Canna Cabana, High Tide owns that. They were selling that Durban Poison 28 grams for like $93, right? So with taxes here in Alberta, only 5% sales tax, 28 gram of Durban Poison under $100, sign me up, right? So can't wait to go there later on and buy some Hexo products, support High Tide and support Hexo. But yeah, we could just come to terms with the fact that we could drop another 25% or so, maybe even 50%, but who cares, right? Maybe you even want to start to scale in. Maybe you buy a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. My average on High Tide is about $2 USD. And I'll look to add again as we get closer to that $1 support. And then I'll definitely be adding if we get down to that all-time low there around 65 cents. But again, all MJ right now, the common theme, and watch this video I just did on Trulieve, the common theme is that all MJ is trending to its all-time lows or setting new all-time lows. So if High Tide is going to be doing potentially the same, most MJ in Canada is down 80, 90% plus. High Tide is now down 90% from February 2021 highs. So I do think that the bottom is getting close. But again, we could drop another 5%, right? If you take a look at Tilray is down from February 2021 highs. It's down 96%. So if High Tide did the same, we could be expecting somewhere around that all-time low, right? So just come to terms with the fact that we could see $1. A lot of people looked at me like I had three eyes or, you know, I was crazy. They thought I was out to lunch, but here we are getting close to my $1 USD target, right? And this thing was just at $13 not too long ago, but a great pick long-term. But again, just be aware that we could see more downside from here. If we take a look at the weekly time frame, and I also said be careful because we were still struggling with the 10-week moving average. A lot of names were getting over their 10-week moving average, and High Tide couldn't even get over it. So the fact that we were struggling, resistance, here we got above it, but we didn't change the weekly trend. Same thing here. Still no weekly trend change. So we need to confirm a weekly uptrend with a higher low and higher high. And then we need to close a candle over that 10-week moving average. So we still got a lot of work to do on high tide before we call any sort of a bottom here. But again, not worried about any individual name. We need the whole sector to reverse. But we have no resistance nearby until about 357 on the weekly moving averages. If we take a look at the daily time frame, we're still pretty bearish here as well. Can't even get over this 50-day moving average. Again, we got above it here, but we didn't change the weekly trend. We need confirmed weekly and monthly uptrends to get out of this bear market. And again, 50-day moving average. So if we do close over that 150 area psychological, it's also the 50-day moving average. We could easily be heading up to that $2 area quite soon, which would be the 100-day, and then the 200-day up there around 316. But still pretty bearish overall on high tide at the moment. But thank you for your comment. 9% swing today was crazy. Yeah, well, if you were around in the March 2020 C19 dump, you'll know that that was crazy, right? When the S&P 500 was dropping like 10%, 15% in a day, hitting the circuit breaker and the whole market was on pause. If that happens again, which it very well could with the geopolitical events that we have in the wars going on, if you think 9% swing is crazy, yeah, that'll be just a blip in the radar. You'll be laughing that you even laughed at that, right? So just be prepared, right? All I'm saying, again, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but just telling it how it is. I call it how it is, and I tell you people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Not always the most popular, but you know, honesty is kind of my MO, right? Perth, Ontario. Welcome from Perth. Thanks for joining the stream, Tim. And thanks, Hector, for your question or your ticket request. Do you have any information on Greenlight Capital? Not really, no. I can just bring up the chart here. Greenlight Capital. Greenlight Capital. Yeah, if you can give me the ticker, I can take a look at it. I'm not sure if this is the one here, but I'll move on. If you want to give me the ticker, I can take a look at it for sure. And the exchange as well. Ticker and the exchange, it helps save time because sometimes there's multiple tickers for different companies and they're on different exchanges, right? Hey, dude. Hey, Fallon. Not set up to buy crypto coins. What platform are you using, Rod? So if you're ever wondering what I'm using, you can just go to my YouTube channel, click on About, and here's all of my links. So full disclosure, these are affiliate links, so I do get a little bit of kickback from these. But I use Uphold. That's one I recommend. I also store them on the Ledger Nano. So I really like Uphold. I also use ShakePay. This one's for Canadians. It's based out of Montreal, Canada. Wealthsimple is a great one for zero fees. If you click on these, again, you'll even like Wealthsimple. If you click on Wealthsimple, you'll actually get a bonus as well using my sign up link. You'll get a bonus as well, and you can win a reward, get free stocks or free money essentially. And then if you sign up with my ShakePay, if you're Canadian, if you deposit $100, we each get $30. So that's pretty cool. I like ShakePay because there's no withholding period. If you put $100 in, you just e-transfer it from your bank into ShakePay. You can buy $100 worth. You own that crypto, and then you can transfer it over to your Ledger wallet. And then the Ledger Nano, I have the Ledger Nano S. This is self-custody. So essentially you get one of these, and it's just like a little USB looking device thing, and you store it on here, right? And you get this backup phrase. It's a 24-word phrase. And if that device ever gets destroyed, you have your backup phrase. I've got a safety deposit box in the bank with the backup there. I have one backup in Prince Edward Island. I have a backup here as well. So that's how I do it and protect myself. We know that Voyager, we know that Celsius just went under, had bankruptcy. So if it's on an exchange, don't leave it on the exchange. I have some on Binance as well. I can give you a link for that as well, but I can only put so many links on here. But that's what I use. I also use this Yubico device to protect my Gmail account. So you can put this, you can link it to your Gmail account. When you sign in, you have to put in the email address, the password, and then in order to log in, you have to put this into your computer, into the USB port, and click the little button here, and that will allow you to log in. So it's just an extra step. If somebody manages to crack your email and they go to do a withdrawal from an exchange, they need to have this key, this physical security key, in order to access it. So even if they hack your computer or hack your Gmail password, they wouldn't be able to log in without that. So yeah, you can find all of that here. If you're interested in joining the POW Group community, anybody on the stream as well, You can just go to powgroup.com, powgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com, or just go to the About section, click on that. You can scroll down. We have some memberships for the private Pow Group community, which is built on Slack, which is this. We have all these different channels with, market, MJ market. We have commodities, crypto, electric vehicle stocks. We've even got channels with news where it automatically fetches news. So we've got MJ news, commodity news. I never check any news websites because I just have everything automatically fetched and coming through there. So it's pretty neat. And one-stop shop for pretty much everything. And the more eyes we have on the better. We've got about 50 members in there now. So you can sign up for that. We've got an annual and a monthly membership, and then also a VIP. You can click on those and then just check out what they offer. We also have separate memberships for our POW Algo Alert. We have the bi-weekly trade newsletter for the more passive style. I also do coaching sessions as well. And we have the POW Group Community Academy, and it's a free training. So you can go here. I do a full thing on, starting your Pursuit of Wealth, brokerages, accounts, paper trading, and then community charts, trading tools. I go through an interactive quiz teaching you how to understand uptrends and downtrends. And again, it's completely free. And I'm working on a paid course for that as well. But you can check out the POW Group community website if you're interested in that. But yeah, just go here. Questrade is what I recommend for stocks. Uphold is really great. You can buy XRP on there. If you're in the United States, a lot of exchanges have stopped allowing XRP. So that's one of the exchanges, the few exchanges in the US on XRP is another one as well. But Uphold, certainly recommend those. And you can do anything. You can buy and sell anything. Like they have gold. You can literally buy anything. So zero fees and low spreads. So really, really great exchange. I highly encourage you to check those out. Pure VPN as well. If you're going to be trading crypto, make sure you protect your identity online. This masks your IP address. So if people know your IP address, they know where you are, and then they can target servers where, if you're on a server in Minneapolis, well, they can potentially target a server, an ISP in there, and then look to potentially hack into your computer that way. But with this, you can disguise your identity online, and it's pretty cheap as well. That's what I use. Trading View, you can click on that. That's what I use for my charting tools. Obviously, you can see all of these. That's what I use for that. What else we got? Well, Simple, I Trust Capital as well. If you're looking for tax-free, so you can open a I Trust Capital, essentially a Roth IRA, and you can invest in these cryptos tax-free. So any gains are completely tax-free. There's just some stipulations and things like that go along with it. But Wealthsimple is great for newbies. They don't have very many options. Binance is great as well for a lot of different altcoins and just liquidity. But yeah, hopefully that helps. But yeah, if you're ever wondering what I use, what are my main links and can't live without, you can just go to the POW Group About section, go down here to links, and everything's pretty much all there. And if you're looking for a Binance one or anything, let me know. I can send you that as well. But I really like Binance as well. Personally, what I do is I e-transfer it from my bank account to ShakePay, and then I buy Bitcoin on ShakePay, and then I send the Bitcoin to Binance, and then I buy whatever I want to buy on Binance, and then I transfer it to my ledger, right? And I have some crypto on Binance as well. But again, not your keys, not your crypto. If it's on the exchange and it goes insolvent, just look up Quadriga CX or The Hunt for the Crypto King. There's a new documentary on Netflix. Essentially, this guy from Nova Scotia, Gerald Cotton, he created an exchange called Quadriga CX in Canada. It's based out of Vancouver, and I trusted it, and I lost a Bitcoin and 2 Ethereum, which would have been like $150,000 at the peak in the bull market there about a year and a half ago. And I lost it all, and I almost quit crypto forever. But I got knocked down. I got back up, and I was stronger because of it. And I'm glad that I learned those lessons, and I made the mistakes with a 4 and 5 figure portfolio. Now that I have 6 figures, well underway to a 7 figure portfolio, I'm never going to make those same mistakes, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? So, not going to make the same mistake twice. Are there any equities you're aware of that focus on alts? Most of I know focus on the big 2 cryptos. Yeah. And the marketing campaigns, obviously Ethereum and Bitcoin. I think you're better off just doing it yourself, self-custody. That's where the max, if there's sort of an equity or an ETF or whatever, you're kind of late to the party, so to speak. I mean, we're early to the party in terms of a crypto adoption, macro adoption, but I would just recommend identifying, doing some due diligence, research a couple of projects. Don't just buy something because someone is telling you to buy it. I really like XRP, XLM, Litecoin. Those are my 3 biggest holdings. Then I have Quant, Link, HBAR, Algo. I really like Filecoin. What else? Helium. So there's just some few to start you in the right direction. I would personally just recommend doing what I do and buying it self-custody on a ledger, things like that. It's really easy. It's a lot easier than you think. Actually, Ledger allows you to actually exchange coins directly on your ledger now. So that's pretty cool. But hopefully that helps. When, bro, Hexo will go to $10? Well, it was just at $11 not too long ago. And it happened pretty quickly, right? If we go back here, so the low, this is where I bought it, was in the summer of 2020, right around here. And this is post-split. So they did a 4-for-1 reverse split. So I was buying it around here in August of 2020 when it was at around $2.50. Then it dropped all the way down to about $2.32. And then from $2.32 in about 4 months, it went up to $11, right? So that's how quickly things can change. And everybody always says, oh, if you do a reverse split, stock price is going to go down. Well, that can be true, but we were coming on a new bull market when they did the reverse split, right? If you're doing a reverse split like Sundial did in a bear market, right? When they did a 1-for-10 reverse split, well, of course it's going to go down because we're in a bear market. But Hexo did a reverse split in a bull market, and everybody says, oh, well, they're going to do a reverse split. I have to sell because it's going to go down. Well, if you would have sold here, you would have missed out on a ton of gains, right? So look how quickly it happened here. It went from $2.32 all the way up to $11.04, right? So in 5 months, it went from $2 to $11, right? So things can change in a hurry. And that was just on hopes of US legalization. So what happens when they actually legalize? Again, if you're only focusing on one MJ stock, one category like MJ, I own like 13 or 14 different MJ stocks now, a mix of Canadian ones, a mix of US operators. I have retailers as well, like High Tide, and some ETFs as well, right? And it just realize that the more time these prices remain low, the more time we have to accumulate. And I'm actually hoping MJ stays lower or goes a little bit lower or stays low until the altcoins pop off and we see true alt season. And then that way I'm going to rotate I'm going to sell 80 to 90% in a true alt season. And then I'll rotate those profits into more beaten down MJ, right? So again, just changing that mindset, right? Just flip it from, we're down, we're low. How long are we going to stay here? This sucks, to, oh my God, I can't believe how low this is. I can't believe what an opportunity this is. And I have more time to accumulate. If you don't have any dry powder, what can you do better next time? Can you keep cash on the side? Can you hedge with an S&P 500 short position? Can you get a second job? Can you work in the evenings? Can you work on the weekends? Can you start a side hustle, right? So all these different things that you can do to maximize the opportunity and to accumulate more. So when is this thing going to get to $10? Well, it could be a year, could be 2 years, right? But again, we're so beaten down. The thing, remember what I said about TrueLeaf in the video that I did today. We went from $8 to $67 and we had no monthly high or low. We had no consolidation. So what did I say? When we start monthly consolidation, which happened here in April of 2021, I said, watch out. We just started consolidation for the first time in a year. And the bigger the move up and the more aggressive the move up and no support on the way up means the aggressive the move on the way down. And now look, we've basically given the whole move back, right? So now if we just invert Hexo, let's go here, and knowing what we know, let's go to settings, invert scale. So essentially that looks like TrueLeaf, right? That looks like this right here, right? Okay. So we basically have no consolidation. We had a couple mini higher lows here, right? Or lower highs because it's an inverted, but let's just say this, we were going up. Well, we could probably expect a big move down, right? Just like TrueLeaf on this same fractal here. So if the moves to the upside are aggressive and prolonged, and then the moves down are aggressive and prolonged, well, what do you think is going to happen next for Hexo? Might we see a pretty big move the other way? Probably, right? And they're not going anywhere. Everybody was saying bankruptcy, right? Now, no one's saying bankruptcy. Now people are saying delisting or reverse split. Who cares, right? Last time they did a reverse split, they went from $2 to $11. So maybe we want a reverse split. I don't know, right? But I really don't think it matters. We know that they just partnered with Tilray. Their debt is solved. So everybody always has something to complain about. But again, if we basically have no resistance all the way up to about $7, if you put $1,000 in right now, the most you can lose is $1,000. And if we just go back up, that's about a 100% gain, right? So that's $1,000 into $41,000, right? How many $1,000 do you need to invest to see life-changing gains getting at $40,000, right? Even if we just go back to EMA 12, that's 450%. EMA 26 is about 1,500%, right? So I think we need to step back and say when moon, when this, when what price, when this price. It doesn't really matter. Just have a long-term mindset. If you're an investor, then, you know, if you just have realistic expectations and a long-term mindset, that's what investing is, right? The data shows that the stock market is a mechanism for transferring wealth from the impatient to the patient. So if you just be patient and have realistic expectations, realize that MJ isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not an instant gratification world, which most of us are accustomed to. Then you'll do just fine. But it could be 6 months, could be a year, might even be longer than that, right? We need safe banking, in my opinion. Alan, I'm doubting how substantially the housing market will correct. With immigration rate, population is expecting to grow 20 million people plus 50 million people in the next 25 years, going to keep the demand sky high. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about with my Airbnb. The reason why I'm seeing these huge increases in bookings, 100 and 150% compared to last year. Excuse me, still getting over this flu, and it's my third video today. Voice is getting a little raspy. So, so yeah, again, what a great time to be getting into an Airbnb, right? The most that I could potentially make per month on an Airbnb, on a rental properties in Edmonton is probably $1,000, $2,000 a month. Not going to make any more than that unless it's like a 5-star condo or something like that, right? But like this same property that I'm Airbnb-ing out, the most I could get for rent for it would be like $1,200. And that's like everything included: internet, lights, electricity, everything, right? Whereas in 5 weeks, I've already made almost $7,000. Going on 6 weeks, this is actually from a couple of days ago, 4 days ago, it was 6,241. I'm actually at like 6,700 now, and it's only been 6 weeks, right? So you can maximize the gains. And yeah, somebody messaged me about coming from Ukraine to Edmonton to escape the war, right? So again, yeah, you're absolutely right. Certain areas, but again, Toronto, Vancouver, I think they could drop 50%, 40, 50%. Even the Federal Reserve said some places like Miami and some other places in the US could drop as much as 50%. So the markets that are way overvalued, yeah, Edmonton, I don't think is going to drop that much. And even if a condo that costs $100,000 drops 50%, that's only $50,000 that you're out. Plus, if you don't sell, you don't lose anything, just like stocks. But if you have a $500,000 home in Toronto and prices drop 50%, that's $250,000 that you're out, right? Plus, you're still paying interest on the $500,000, depending on your mortgage rate and your variable or your fixed, whatever it was. Yeah, I mean, crazy, right? I agree, though. Tim says, yep, purchased a rental house 3 years ago, more than doubled my money this year, sold just before the housing market crash in May. Yeah, exactly. And, we don't have crystal balls. We can't time the exact top or the exact bottom, but as long as you're getting out near the top, right? And I know so many people that are just like biting their fingernails right now because they bought in the FOMO. They say, oh, if I don't get a house now, I might never, ever be able to afford one. And I'm like, that, sir, madam, is terrible way of thinking, right? Because that's called FOMO. And when you do FOMO, you're doing things out of emotion, not out of logic and reason, right? So just like stocks, if your friends are telling you to buy MJ stocks, it's probably too late. You're probably better off to wait a couple months. And then whenever they say, oh, I'm selling mine, this is garbage, then you buy, right? So just contrarian view, right? But congratulations. I know not everybody is as fortunate as we are. But yeah, if you haven't been fortunate, what can you do differently next time? And make sure that you take a mental note of this, right? So that next time something like this happens, you can be well prepared instead of ill prepared. Tiphead says, hello, Rod. I would assume you had a great vacation. Nice to have you back. Thank you very much. I did. Thank you. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. I saw my family. I hadn't seen my uncle in over 10 years. So that was fantastic to just sit back and spend time with family. Went and visited a few friends, but got the flu the first day I got back to PEI. So it was a bit of a downer, but had me out for about 3 days, but we made up for it in the time that I did have beyond that. But no, I really appreciate it. Glad to be back. It's my third video today, and expect a lot more content coming as well. Hector says, thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. Thanks for your comments and contributions. Fallon says, in Ontario, they seem to have unbeatable prices at Canna Cabana, and they are buying up private dispensaries in so many towns. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, 28-gram ounce of Hexo's Durban Poison, which is a new SKU, for $93. You can get bake sale with tax. I think it was $62, and it's really good. The sativa is really good. I just got the indica, but I'm hoping they either have the sativa, and that's a great product for a recession, right? What's up? Like MJ's up there with groceries now, right? It goes air, oxygen, food, or water, food, MJ. That's kind of like people's lives now. So are people going to go and be asking for the Primo Quad A, $200, $250 ounces? I doubt it. They're kind of probably look for the more economical option, and what better opportunity. And that isn't the case in Ontario. Like if you go to Ontario, this is just Alberta. Plus we only have 5% sales tax here. But if you go to anywhere else other than Alberta, that same ounce of bake sale would be like $99, right? So we're spoiled here in Alberta. But again, that was part of the reason why I bought in Alberta. That's why I moved to Alberta. I could have moved to Toronto. I could have moved to Vancouver. I work from wherever there's internet. Money wasn't an issue. But why am I going to spend $3,000, $4,000 a month to live and pay 15%, sometimes as high as, maybe even higher than that, sales tax, when I can move to Edmonton, spend $1,000 a month for living costs and $5% sales tax, right? And then when the market's correct, then maybe I'll move to Vancouver. Maybe I'll go to Vancouver for a few years. Maybe I'll go to Toronto. Maybe I'll buy an Airbnb in Toronto and an Airbnb in Vancouver in a couple of years, right? Just slowly work my way up. I'll have one here in Edmonton, one in Vancouver, one in Toronto, and then I can just go. If nobody is in my Airbnb for a month, then I just go and stay there for a month, right? If it's an off season, it's down season, right? But yeah, there's the prices are only going to come down with scale, right? And black market's getting absolutely destroyed. There's even talks that people are going to the store and buying bake sales and reselling them and taking them out of the packaging and then reselling them because people are like, oh, the black market stuff's way better. And then they go to the legal market, they buy an ounce for $60 here in Alberta. They take it out of the packaging, they put it into sandwich baggies. And not saying I know anybody that does that. I've been hearing people say that. And then they sell it like, oh, this is great stuff, right? And then they sell it for like $50 a quarter, right? So it's just absolute ludicrous, and people are just like, "Oh, it's the black market." It's all in your head, dude. Like obviously you're buying an ounce of MJ for $60. It's not going to be like cream of the crop, but I mean, I've been smoking for like over 10 years, like 15 years. I'm kind of doing more edibles now. I actually haven't smoked in the last 3 days. I'm kind of taking a step back from it. Not because I don't like it or I think it's bad for me or anything like that. Well, obviously smoking and combustion is bad for your lungs. That's not a secret, but the edibles and things like that. But I've been sick and stuff like that. And also just, it's just not the same anymore. I usually do like a little bit before I go to bed. And if you're not smoking all the day, if you're a chronic, 15%, 16% THC might not do the trick. But if you just do one a day, in the evening before you go to bed, that's kind of where I'm at now. I do the drinks as a social thing, and it's just, I really enjoy them, and it's healthier. And especially an alternative to drinking alcohol and things like that. Then yeah, right. So that's kind of how I've been doing it. I'll investigate the crypto setup you're using when I have some time. Thanks, Rod. Yeah, you bet. If you have any other questions, just let me know. Always happy to help. Crypto definitely is a little overwhelming, and it's going to get easier, right? Just like, back in the day when the internet started, it wasn't that easy to do things, right? We had dial-up internet. It wasn't easy to get connected to the internet. If someone was on the phone, you were like starting to dial up, you go to the internet, you go to connect, and it's like, beep, 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 oh, I'm on the phone, right? I remember that day when my parents were in the room saying, hey, I'm on the phone, stop trying to connect to the internet. And like now people are like kids these days are just like, what? That doesn't even make sense, right? Well, the same thing's going to happen with crypto soon. Pretty soon, people are going to be like, what? You put your crypto on a ledger, or you had to like do all this rigmarole to buy it. Like now it's just in our stock accounts and we can just buy it through our banks and things like that. That's where the world's going. Pretty soon stocks are going to be on blockchain and you're going to be able to trade MJ stocks and tech stocks and everything. There's already companies doing this, but you're going to be able to trade tokenized stocks. So they're essentially going to tokenize stocks and we'll be able to trade them 24/7, 365, even on the weekends, right? That's a big problem right now with the traditional financial system is we can't send money on the weekend. Right? With blockchain, no problemo, right? El problema solved, right? So, and again, it's innovation, right? And even Bitcoin, you get the Bitcoin maximalists who's saying Bitcoin's the only one, it's the only one worth owning. Well, that can't be true. Imagine being a dial-up maximalist saying, oh, dial-up, internet's the best, fax machine sucks, dial-up is going to be the end all be all. And we just stopped innovating, right? Well, what if we created Bitcoin, right? Which I think the government did. The military created the Internet of Information. So who do you think created the Internet of Value? What I would argue more important than Internet of Information? Well, probably the NSA or the CIA or the military or something like that, right? They call it military grade encryption, which is the SHA-256 hash. Well, guess what? Crypto relies on encryption and cryptography, right? So yeah, it definitely is a learning curve, but lots to learn, but it'll get easier as time goes on. Bro, when alt season, there's also MJ session. Look in the past. Regards from Austria. Welcome from Austria. Yeah, so alt season, I did a video on alt season this September/October, and there was a ton of reasons why I was looking at that. But I'm sort of again, the more data we get, the more our thesis changes. People can be like, oh, he was wrong. It didn't happen in November. Well, November's not over, or September's not over yet. Could still happen. We know Flare Network is going to be launching soon. We had the merge in Ethereum. We had Cardano hard fork with Vasil. We have NFTs coming to the XRP ledger. We could see a settlement in the library and Ripple case versus the SEC. There's a lot of things coming, but what I think is going to happen is we're going to see a drop off in equities in the S&P 500. Watch my video from today and Friday, more pain ahead.com fractal playing out to perfection. If that happens, we could see another 10 to 15% correction on the S&P 500. That's going to be bad for crypto. And then leading into midterm elections and then the FOMC rate into November, I think we're going to set a bottom between now and then. And then into the end of November, they're going to probably pause rates or at 25 basis points. It's going to create a face ripper of a rally. And then what I think could happen is Bitcoin goes on one more final tear. And then after Bitcoin tops, then the alt season happens. So it could happen. We're already seeing massive moves. Like XRP was up like 60 or like 100% in just a few short weeks. We just bring up the XRP chart. Yeah, so in 3 weeks, it was up almost 100%, 80%. And then from the lows here, up about 100%, right? So from the low back in June, or was that June? Yeah, June, up about 100%, right? So we are getting some massive moves in altcoins. And I was looking at potential September or November. But now I'm thinking that it might not be until November, December where we get true alt season, because we need SPY to bottom out as well, right? In order to see true alt season, that's high risk. We need the risk on assets to find bottoms, and we need like equities and stocks and the S&P 500 that needs to find a bottom as well, in my opinion. So I'm it could still happen in September, October, where we get a settlement in some of the cases with the SEC, the Ripple and library case. That's going to be huge and we even got a ton of people who are naysayers and Ripple haters and XRP haters and doubters. And now they're even starting to convert over and support Ripple, right? And but because of the fact that this fractal could play out from SPY, the .com fractal has been so bang on, we could potentially see one more leg down here before the midterms, and then set a bottom between the midterms and then into the end of the year. So you have face ripper rally, and then into March and April into May, we see another leg down, sell in May and go away. And then we get extreme into the summer lull. Usually summer drop off in activity, people take vacation, and we could go as low as the low 200s on the S&P 500. And again, if we take a look at the fractal from here, it's very, very similar to the .com bubble. And this is the everything bubble. So if the everything bubble is this extended, it could be even more extended to the downside. Just like I said, we had We had 10 years worth of gains on the S&P 500, 120% worth of gains in 2 years. The average rate of return on the return on ROI, return on investment on the S&P 500 per year is about 12%. So we got 10 years worth of gains condensed into 2 years. That means that we could see a lot more downside, right? So I think alt season may get pushed back into November, December. But again, we've waited this long, right? MJ, we waited this long. Who cares? We have to wait another year or 2 years even. Just, again, flip the mindset. Instead of, oh, this sucks. Prices have been so low for so long. Flip the mindset. Oh, my God, we're so lucky. So once a lifetime opportunity. It'll only ever happen once. The traditional financial system is being remade in front of our eyes. This will only happen once. Since the advent of gold coins, essentially, we haven't seen this big of a change in the financial system. The MJ sector, that'll only ever be legalized once. Well, again, flip your mindset and be grateful and thankful that you're even alive to see this, and be grateful that you have time to accumulate more of it, right? So again, just flipping that mindset. Hopefully that helps. Germany legalization, MJ, first quarter of 2023. Yeah, and they're saying now that New York is probably not going to go live to 2023. Do you think that's a coincidence? Why would they do that now and then wait for Germany legalization and then US legalization is getting pushed back, right? So they want to wait. They want to delay everything as much as possible because they know that once we enter a new bull market, they're just going to string together a few different news pieces and catalysts and just bang, 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 and prices are going to skyrocket, right? Now, like I've been saying, until crypto and tech stocks top out and then really enter their bear market, that we're not going to see MJ enter its new bull market. I think MJ will. I heard somebody saying today, macroeconomic expert on I can't remember who it was now, but they were saying that we could see a recession growth period where we're in a recession where some growth names outperform, right? What might that be? MJ, right? Again, we don't know for sure, but we can place our bets. We can be prepared for all scenarios, which is up, down, and sideways. How do we prepare for up? We have a long-term bag where we don't sell. We have a short-term bag where we can take some profits maybe in the short term. We also can, how do we prepare for sideways? Well, that's just understanding markets and being patient. And then how do we prepare for down? Holding cash on the side or taking a short position as a hedge on the S&P 500 to hedge those long positions. So that's how we control what we can control, right? When stocks moon, bro. Congrats on the Airbnb and success. Awesome work. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll do some videos on that as well. I know it's been a pretty popular request, so I'll do that at ASAP. Thanks for coming on. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. Just bought the Riff drumsticks to try, infused and rolled in keef. Grape forward flower pre-rolls. Flavor. Yeah, exactly. I haven't tried those yet. I did try I got some of them over on the counter there, but the hash bats, the only complaint I have with those, the good supply, that's Tilray. Only complaint I have is they were packaged in January of this year. So yeah, and it wasn't like the highest percentage anyway, but like obviously that's going to deteriorate. And the fact that it was packaged in January is like, what? A long time ago, right? But yeah, they were pretty good. I saved it for whenever I'm no longer sick. There's 3 in there. I have 1 left. Who knows? Maybe I'll dip into that later tonight, but finally getting my taste buds back. So maybe, who knows, maybe I'll celebrate my taste buds returning with a hash bat. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Gonna go check out Canna Cabana after this. Hopefully they get some new products in. But I'll be doing some more product reviews and stuff like that in the future now that I'm feeling better. Dollar very overbought. Yep. So I've been saying for a while now on my channel that I'm targeting 112 to 114. We hit 114.52 as the high here. And monthly RSI is sitting at 8107. Anything over 70 is considered overbought here. And we're extended, and we haven't consolidated since January. So we're coming up almost on 9 months, but almost a whole full year of any consolidation on the dollar, right? So what I think could happen, we have no resistance now until 120, 121 on the dollar. And then after 121, we've got no resistance all the way up until like 153. 164. So we could potentially go to 125, see a blow off top, and then that would line up well with my thesis is that stocks haven't bottomed yet, and that we could potentially see a lot more downside. October also not a great stock month for stocks, so maybe we see a blow off top somewhere around 125 on the dollar, 120, 125, and then set a bottom around the 320s, 330s on SPY leading into the midterm elections. Then after November 8th, leading into the end of November, we get a positive outcome from the FOMC rate decision. Maybe they don't increase it at all. And then we see a face rip of a rally. And then just before the 1 year mark on DXY, we finally get the monthly consolidation, which we know is due and inevitable. And that would bode well for stocks in that face rip or rally that I'm looking at, right? So absolutely, I think DXY is going to be very important, but mostly the most important thing is the weekly uptrend. We've been in a strong weekly uptrend. We almost lost it here and almost confirmed a weekly downtrend here as well. We almost lost it at EMA 12. That yellow line has been a nice support line as well. So we've been riding that, surfing it up here as support. So if we do close a weekly candle underneath EMA 12, that yellow line, that'll be red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 will either be losing the weekly uptrend or confirming a weekly downtrend. And then red flag number 3, and basically, get the hell out of the dollar, will be once we lose the low of the previous monthly candle, because that'll be the first time in 9 months. And that'll be and if we lose the low of the previous monthly candle, expect stocks and crypto to absolutely fly to the upside. Can't take much more of beating on risk assets without some good relief. Yeah, absolutely. What goes up must come down, and what goes down must go back up, right? Physics. Alt season like 2021, not that big. I think the next alt season could be the biggest yet. Yeah. And utility coins specifically, I think, are going to see the most of the move. So not, we had the age of the meme coins, right? The SHIBs and the Doges of the world, but clearly they don't do anything. The ones with actual utility. So I think, XRP, XLM, Algo, HBAR, Quant, Link, Filecoin, just to name a few. I shouldn't even have started naming them off. But Helium is another great one as well. I heard the analogy for Helium. Helium is to what Airbnb is to like real estate. They're like a decentralized infrastructure for the internet or for cell phones or for, that coverage or like Wi-Fi coverage and things like that. Right. So could be huge, decentralized infrastructure for the internet. But I do think that, next alt season could be the biggest yet. The hash bats I tried when they first dropped this in June 30th package date. They're improving. Me and my 6,500 shares, thanks them. Yeah. I added Tilray a couple of days ago. Actually, it was last week. But I'm slowly, I think it's about 15 or 20% of my MJ portfolio at the moment. But I've been slowly accumulating that one. And I mentioned in my video today that I'm going to look at adding TrueLeaf. I've never owned the TrueLeaf stock. And I've been waiting, and I might buy it as early as this week. But like I said, it could be heading the overall theme in MJ right now is we're going to all-time lows. We're setting new all-time lows. And if that theme remains true for TrueLeaf, we could expect a bottom somewhere around $8, maybe even $5 or $6, right? So that's why I'm glad I learned the patience of MJ and crypto. What it has taught me is not to FOMO in and TrueLeaf and realize that it can always go lower and a lot more lower than you think, right? And when the whole sector's bearish with no end in sight, it was great that I held off. I'm really happy. So TrueLeaf. I like CureLeaf and Cresco better than TrueLeaf personally. Maybe even GTII better than TrueLeaf. TrueLeaf is great in Florida, but they had to buy Harvest Health to get into other areas, and a lot of different states are no longer allowing license applications. So essentially, for these companies to get into other areas, they're going to have to go through M&A, mergers and acquisitions. They're going to have to acquire and buy other companies, and that's going to create dilution in the stock. That's going to create that's going to use up a lot of the cash that they have in the balance sheet. Things like that. And then if they do start to expand into the rest of US, that's going to be huge capital expenditures, right? Which are going to really hurt their earnings or their financials, right? So that's the thing about LPs that most people don't, most people are naive or they're just intellectually dishonest, or they didn't actually do the research and they don't know what they're talking about. But LPs already have the foundation. They already have the foundation built for like Tilray, for example, and Hexo. Hexo's number 1, Tilray's number 2 in Canada. They already have the infrastructure built for Canada, and they already have the infrastructure built ready to go for the US. And Tilray is now partnered with Hexo for international, and Tilray owns 20% of the market share in Germany. Plus, they were meeting with like the German government, right? So those are the companies you want to be backing and supporting. And we know that Wall Street, Tilray is like Wall Street bankers' favorites, right? They have the infrastructure built for Germany and abroad as well, right? So US MSOs don't even have their own backyard. They don't even have the US scaled and figured out yet. let alone Canada and then Germany and abroad, right? So the difference is with Canadian LPs is they've taken the impairments, they've taken the beaten, but the reason why their financials aren't great is because Canada is only 30 million people, the US is 300 million, and they're taking a completely different approach, right? And there's a reason why all these Fortune 500 companies and big alcohol and tobacco are buying Canadian LPs, is because they probably know that they're the best set up for global domination, right? Not to say there won't be winners and losers both sides of the border, both in Canada and the US, because there will be. And then there'll be winners from, Europe and Asia and Latin America and things like that, right? So again, anybody who tells you that LPs are garbage and they're not worth owning, that US MSOs are the only thing worth owning, or the other way around, that LPs are the only, or the bee's knees and there's never going to be any winners in the US, well, just stop listening to them, right? Because just like tech stocks, right? Just because you're first doesn't mean you're going to be the best, right? Look at MySpace or Pets.com, right? In the tech boom, the winners, the real winners, the Apples and the Microsofts all came later, right? So same thing in crypto. Just because Bitcoin was first doesn't mean it's going to be the end all be all. And just because, CGC was one of the first doesn't mean that Canopy is going to be one of the best in the end all be all either, right? Hexo came on the scene way late and now it's number one, right? So, and I've been saying since August 2020 that I thought Hexo was going to be the leader in Canada, which I was correct. It is now there. Price sucks, but so does Tilray's price. So does Truly's price. I see people lamenting all the time about Truly's price and Tilray's price and things like that. But again, we have to take accountability for hitting the buy and sell button, right? Nobody is to blame but yourself. So what did you learn? What can you learn? What can you do different next time? Right? What can you learn from that? Consider it an expensive tuition fee or something like that, right? A learning opportunity. The Rift drumsticks are June 30th. Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. All right, that was fun. Going to end it there. We'll do another live stream a little bit later on in the week, more than likely. But once again, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rod with Power Group. If you can smash the like, subscribe, take the bell to be notified on any future live streams or when I post a new video. And also be sure to check out the sponsors, the links in the description. And if you do have any other questions, if you're viewing this video after the fact, let me know in the comments. If you agree with anything that I've said, disagree, have anything you want to add, we can continue the conversation. We don't have to agree on everything to be friends. And that's how we grow as people, is questioning other people's ideas and thesis, sharing the thoughtful discourse and having that common goal, which is just the greater good. And I'm not right about everything. I'm not wrong about everything. We all have our wins. We all have our losses. But as long as we can all come to the most sensible, logical conclusion, that's what I'm after. All right. Appreciate everybody joining the stream, your contributions. We'll see you again on the next video. Have a great night.